Hi everyone, welcome to the Uni1 Email API channel. In this video, we'll walk you step by step on how to set up a local SMTP server for testing email submission. But first, let's talk about SMTP and MTA. Understanding these terms is crucial for developers working on email integrations. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. When you send an email, it goes to your designated SMTP server that handles the delivery to the recipient's SMTP server. Think of it as a digital post office, where your letter gets processed and forwarded to its destination. A mail transfer agent, or MTA, such as Postfix or SendMail, is the software program that is the core part of an SMTP server. Now, when building email workflows during development, you might want to test your setup without actually sending out emails. That's where the local SMTP server comes in. Having it up and running on your own machine, you can safely and securely test your emailing script or application. In this tutorial, we'll guide you through setting up a local SMTP server on a Windows machine using Postfix within a VirtualBox environment. You'll learn everything from installing the virtual machine to sending a test email. Let's get started. Before we dive in, here's what you'll need. A Windows PC with VirtualBox installed. Linux Mint as a virtual machine. At least 4 GB of random access memory, 20 GB of free disk space, and an hour of your time. In this video, we'll guide you through the process of installing VirtualBox and Linux Mint. Links to download will be provided in the description of this video. A detailed version of this tutorial, including instructions on setting up VirtualBox and installing Linux Mint, is available on our blog. A link to the article is also in the description. To install and configure Postfix on a Windows machine, you'll need to take some preliminary steps. Since Postfix isn't natively supported on Windows, you can run it using a Linux VM. For this tutorial, we'll be using Oracle VirtualBox, a popular open-source virtualizer, but you may use any other method of creating a Linux VM on Windows. Let's install VirtualBox and Linux. First, go to the VirtualBox website and download the installer for Windows. The process is pretty straightforward. After installing VirtualBox, go to the Linux Mint download page and select the Cinnamon version. Download the ISO file for installation. This is a disk image you can use to install your copy of Linux using VirtualBox. Now let's set up a virtual machine in VirtualBox. Open VirtualBox and click New. In the opened window, name the virtual machine, for example Minttest or any other name. Set type to Linux, version to Ubuntu, and check the Skip Unattended Installation option. For ISO image, specify the full file name of the Linux ISO file you've downloaded while installing Linux Mint. On Hardware and Hard Disk tabs below, allocate memory. At least 2 GB recommended, and create a virtual hard disk, 20 GB or more. This is just the upper limit for your VM and will not be claimed immediately, but you still need a few gigabytes of free space to accommodate your Linux installation. After this, we can move on to installing Linux Mint. Start the VM. In the Welcome menu, select Start Linux Mint. Wait until it fully loads, then click the Install Linux Mint icon on your virtual desktop and follow on-screen instructions. The process will take a few minutes. When prompted for your computer's name, username and password, be sure to remember the values you enter. Although you may opt to log in automatically, in which case you do not need to enter your credentials when the VM starts, you'll need these values later. After installation, reboot the VM, remove the ISO from storage, and start the machine again. After installing Linux Mint, open the terminal and update the system with this command. When entering a command starting with sudo, which means it is run with administrative privileges, the system may ask you to retype your password. Do not worry, this is absolutely normal. Next, install Postfix with this command. During the installation, select Local Only as the configuration type and enter localhost for the system mail name. To verify Postfix is running, enter this command. Now, let's configure Postfix for local email delivery. First, edit the main configuration file using this command. Next, check and update these lines for a basic setup. The last line will probably be missing, so you'll have to add it manually. When done, save changes and exit. Press Ctrl X, then Y to confirm changes. Next, restart Postfix with the following command for the changes to take effect. Let's test the SMTP server using telnet. Start a session with this line. Telnet is a tool that lets you connect to a specific IP address using a specific port number. The IP address 127.0.0.1 is a special one that refers to your own computer or virtual machine, in our case, and localhost is just a more convenient name for it. When you use this command, you're trying to connect to any program on your system that's waiting for incoming data, aka listening, on port 25, which is the default port for SMTP. You should see a response like 220 localhost SMTP postfix. At this step, you've just started an SMTP session, and the Postfix server is ready and waiting for your commands. Now it's time for sending a test email. Introduce yourself to the server. Specify the sender. Specify the recipient. In place of your name above, enter your actual username. Then, write the email content. Separate the header part from the body with a blank line, pressing Enter twice. Finish the email with a single period. On a separate line to end the data command. Terminate your SMTP session by entering Quit. Finally, let's verify the email delivery. Check the email in the default mail directory with this line. You'll see a file representing your email. Open it using this command. Instead of fill a name, enter the name of the file you see in this directory. This will display the contents of the email you've just sent. Congratulations! You've successfully set up and tested a local SMTP server using Postfix. This is a powerful way to test your email workflows without sending real emails. If this video helped, give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and comment below with your questions or feedback. Check out more tutorials on Unione Email API channel for developers. See you soon.